My grandmother was a slave in Virginia. She, I guess, yes, she was around 18 years old when the Civil War finished. And I remember she and so were all her friends. And in my little home in Pennsylvania, a little hometown outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, they used to gather, she and her friends, in our backyard every evening or every other evening, especially in the warm summer nights. And they began to tell of their various experiences on their plantations. And if I had known when I was a youngster listening to these old people talk about their experiences as slaves on the plantation, known then that I was going to earn my living in later years as a lecturer all around the world, telling about this same era and singing the songs that they sang, I could have had a wonderful folk history. But I didn't. As children, though, we were interested a while and we didn't. But they would talk and tell these various experiences, and it would invariably, their sessions invariably ended with the most gruesome ghost stories you ever heard in your life. Oh, they were blood-curdling ghost stories. And then we had a little cool spring. Yeah, they called it Cool Spring, as I remember, about 100 yards from my house, way up on the side of the hill. And as soon as they get through talking about these ghost stories, Grandma would say, "Jester, step over to the spring, son, and get us a bucket of water." I said, "Not this evening, Grandma, not this evening." I've had my little anatomy, you know, patted so many times for refusing to go because I was frightened. I was always frightened at night, and especially after those ghost stories. And so when I grew up and began to write music and write stories, I remembered one of these stories, and this is the one we'll do now. It's called "That Old House is Haunted." In the North, where, a house that is infested with ghosts or eerie characters is called a haunted house. In the South, they call it a haunted house, you know. And in Oklahoma, so in Appalachia, they call it haunted. I've worked with people who say it was a haunted house. It's the same ghost, you know. And so we call it a haunt in this particular song. That old house is haunted. Down in the town where I was born, there was a haunted house, and all the folks that passed that way would scoot by like a mouse. Now, Captain John, who owned the house, had died some years before, but neighbors claimed they'd seen him there standing in the door.
That old house is haunted, that old house is haunted, that old house is haunted, and I ain't going there no more.
And every night the strangest sounds would come from out that way. Those hands would carry on all night long till roosters crowed for day. Old Deacon Brown was bold and brave, at least that's what folks all said. He often claimed he'd like to talk and mingle with the dead. So a prize was offered to the man, he might be black or white, who'd stay there in the captain's house so folks could sleep at night. Well, Deacon Brown was bold, we said, and so he promised us that he would stay out there a week and stop those hands so fuss.
That old house is haunted, that old house is haunted, that old house is haunted, and I ain't going there no more.
Now the first night all was going swell till about 1 or 2. Then pretty soon a little cat would come trotting into view. "Well, what a pretty little cat," said the deacon sort of slow. But as he looked down at the cat, that thing began to grow. Till after a while, it was 3 feet tall. Deacon wiped his cheek and then looked around to find the door, and the cat began to speak. "I wonder where could Martin be? He's late again tonight. If he don't come in pretty soon, there's sure gonna be a fight." Come on!
That old house is haunted, that old house is haunted, that old house is haunted, and I ain't going there no more.
Well, that scared Deacon most to death, but he was bold all right, 'cause he sat there and held his ground from then to broad daylight. But next night, honey, things were worse cause four cats come this time. The largest one was solid black, the others white as lime. Old Deacon Brown sat there just so the sweat all running down. Too weak to move cause on each side these cats was laying round. Ain't none of y'all seen on mine yet, announced the cat in black. He told us all to stay right here and wait till he got back.
That old house is haunted. That old house is haunted. That old house is haunted. And I ain't going there no more.
Well, the deacon buttoned up his coat and then reached for his hat. And as he passed out through the door, he spoke back to the cat. Now, I don't know who Martin is nor how soon he'll be on. But you cats tell Martin when he comes that I've been here, but I'm gone.